Hey folks, Frank the Pestgeek here. Hey, I want to talk to you about 3 ways to generate more income if you're a solo operator. I know that a lot of you guys out there struggle to increase the income. Long ashes to you. Enjoying a cigar and Singleton. This is Luscious Nectar 12 single malt scotch. Oh, that's delicious. And I'm having a Cohiba. I struggled with that when I was a solo operator. I get this question asked a lot to me. How is it that we're able to do all that we do? How am I able to have all the toys I have, all the gadgets, when I only have just me and another technician? Well, we've got very high prices. If you go to my website at naturepest.com, you'll see my prices front and center. We are the single most expensive company in South Florida. As of right now, we've increased our prices again. And the reason is we can't hire people. I just finished giving my tech a raise again. I also gave him a promotion and gave him more responsibility. The things that people talk about hiring right now, that people are burning out, that you can't hire because we have the resignation um, culture right now. The top 4 reasons people are quitting. Number one is unreasonable, unmanageable workloads. When your idea of increasing my income has to do with, if you want more income, do 5 more stops a day or sell, which I'm not wired to sell, I become very, very disappointed. You hired me as a tech. You didn't hire me as a salesperson. Just because you sold the company and now the new ownership of that company requires that everyone sells, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a tech. I am a salesperson. I was a tech first in life. Then I got into sales. And then I stayed in sales. And then I became a tech again. And then I became a tech and a salesperson. So there is no way for you as a technician working for a company. There's only 2 ways. You either sell something or you do more stops. But you don't have control over the pricing. That was done when the contract was negotiated by the salesperson, who usually undersells it because he's under quota and he needs to make sales every day and he has to meet his quota. So he will undersell it because he doesn't care if you're going out there and you're only getting paid 18 to 21%. So I said to my tech, I said, I'm going to pay you 25%. I need you to manage a little bit more, manage the client more. If you can do upsells and you feel comfortable with them. And he said, you remember when I tried selling and he was trying to do sales in another job, originally, and I said, bro, those knives aren't going to sell. He says, no, these knives are the greatest things in the world. They'll sell themselves. And I said, bro, nothing sells itself. You got to sell it. Nothing in the world sells itself. If it would, they wouldn't need you and pay you this enormous commission that they pay you to sell these $1,000 knives. He didn't sell a set. But he's learned how to sell with me. I make it comfortable for him. It's an option. But I don't make his major compensation on sales. It's there for you if you want it. And that's great. Um, and I went ahead and just said, I just need you to make sure these appointments for these clients that are there, give them access to the system. Make sure that all of our services are auto scheduled. In other words, we're an exterior service only company. Only 10 to 20% of our stops require someone to be home because we're doing it. So he only needs to make 1 or 2 calls a day. He's not calling everybody. He's calling these people, say, hey, we did your road service. We need to do your follow-up on your road service. I need to know when you'll be home. I have this date available. Does that work for you? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Most of the time it's automated because we send out texts and messages and emails. The client calls in and says, hey, yeah, I want to do my follow-up. Can you do it next Tuesday? Because they know we're in that area only on certain days a week, which we're going to be talking about route density. and we do everything when we're going to be in that area. We're not going to be making a special trip for a client to an area we're not in, because that kills us financially. So we're very, very using a lot of lean methodology, using Six Sigma. That's Six Sigma, not Six Sigma. And lean, most people don't know what lean is. Look into lean. Um, the problem with lean methodology, it mostly applies to a lot of the tech world and manufacturing. But you can take a lot of principles and apply it to the service industry, the home service industry. So we're going to be discussing 3 ways that you can generate more income if you're a solo operator when you can't hire. Most guys don't want to hire. They're not ready to hire. They don't have the money to hire. They don't have the infrastructure to hire. They don't have a program in place of how, come on, baby, sit down next to me. They don't have an infrastructure in place to hire, to onboard, to recruit, to train. They don't have a training system. So they're still in solo operation. And, the average solo operator, depending if you're in the Midwest somewhere, you're somewhere around $150,000 a year in income. If you're doing termites, if you're doing GHP, if you're doing termites, or you're doing lawn, or you're doing some other wildlife, you can get it up there into the 200. Getting it past 250 is very tough. I got it all the way up to 240, 245 by myself. And let me tell you, you're working 14, 16-hour days. And that's on top of, because you got to answer all the calls. You got to make the callbacks. You got to do the scheduling. You got to do the sales. You got to do the billing. You got to do all the ordering. If you bring your wife on board and you tell her, honey, it's time for you to come home, I can't handle this anymore, and you guys can work together, man, you can do phenomenal, because all that stress is off of you now. She can handle all those quoting and getting the appointments and getting the schedule and doing the invoicing. And yeah, you pay her, you not pay her, you decide, hey, listen, the extra income, I can pay you, but we're keeping it in the house. So I'm paying you a salary for basically what you're making now, and that would equal to the income you're making. But we still keep it in house. If you've got children, man, can you really grow if you've got 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who can work with you? Now you're doing 300, 400,000 a year because your kids are involved. But if you're like me, you said your kids are small, I don't have a wife, I'm working by myself, I got to hire everybody, I got to pay for everything. What do? The number one thing you're going to have to do is raise your prices. I know that's uncomfortable. See, none of the solutions I'm going to give you are going to be comfortable. They're not easy. There is no easy solution for you to increase your income. You can't work yourself to death and keep adding more stops. That's not the solution. The solution is raise your prices. Raise your prices way above market, 10 to 20% above market. In our case, we're sometimes 30 to 50% right now above market. We have a unique selling proposition. We have a niche business. We have a blue ocean strategy. Right now, I don't need to do any advertising. I get 10 to 12 calls a day that I can't even handle most of the time. We had to fire our call center. We couldn't keep our call center. They weren't answering our calls for us. They are the same problem. They don't have enough people. Everybody's quitting and then hiring phone services because they don't have receptionists. Phone services are overwhelmed. They can't hire people. You're in the same boat. So you raise your prices. Now, you're worried about raising your prices and that your existing customers are going to bail. You got to raise your prices every year, 3 to 5%. You got to stay above inflation because all of your costs are going up. Your chemical costs are going up. Your insurance costs are going up. Gas prices are going up. The price of vans. Every 6 years when you go buy a van, you get sticker shock. When you go buy a truck, you get sticker shock because they went up $5,000 in 5 years. They're going up like $1,000 a year. When you got to re-outfit all and buy all that new equipment, you got to have the money. What's going to happen when you raise your prices, and when you raise your prices on the maintenance, 3 to 5%, but you raise your initial services and you raise your prices on new clients, 20 to 30%. what is going to happen is you're going to attract a higher quality of customer, a better quality of customer. Because what most people don't understand in the psychology of pricing is that we sell the unseeable. Nobody can see your quality. You can tell because why should I pay you more than I pay this other company? And when you give them the answer is, well, I got 25 years of experience, I got 15 years of experience. You're getting me as a solo operator. You're not getting a large company. You're getting my expertise. That's what you're paying for. That's as a solo operator. Now, remember, you're shooting yourself in the foot with that because the moment you decide to grow, now what's your excuse? It's a double-edged sword. But you're selling the unseeable. People cannot experience your service until they buy your service. When people cannot figure out what the differentiating factor is, in other words, what's the difference between this speaker and this speaker, and they look at the specs and say, okay, this is 25 watt versus 20 watt, this is a 6-hour battery versus a 4-hour battery, this is weatherproof, this one's not. I have all the apples and apples, and I can do an apples and apples comparison. You cannot do an apples and apples comparison with pest control. You're selling the unseeable. It's perceived value versus comparable value. When a person psychologically can't make a decision because there's nothing to compare it to, when the higher price is there, they will automatically assume that the higher price is a higher quality. Because we sell an eco-friendly service, it is perceived higher quality already. It is perceived that it's safer, that it is, and it is, because we make a brand promise to our clients. But our process takes longer. Our products cost more. The level of our training has to be higher. So it's only natural to assume that it's going to cost more. So when you raise your prices, the assumed quality by the client, the price is a stand-in for that quality, if it makes sense. Also, when you charge more, you can give better support. When you only have to do 8 a day or 6 a day versus 15 to 20, you can give better service. You can spend more time with the client. It's just like that issue I had with the big-headed ant on a roof. There's no way my tech was ever going to spot that. After he had 2 incidents, I said, no, I'm not going to take you off the route and stop you and slow you down. I will handle this. I will spend the hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, to deal with this client. By me charging what I charge, it allows me the free time. So I am not at 120% of route capacity all the time. I'm at 80%, 75% of route capacity. Not have to kill myself. If today I decide I don't want to go out, I need to cancel a couple of stops, I can move until next week, in a couple of weeks, and balance out the route somehow. The second way that you're going to really make more money is to get really good at upselling your client to more service. I just got upsold. I went in for a $59 oil change, and I got upsold to a $359 transmission oil change and a radiator flush. I'm sitting there in line. She says, your vehicle has 74,000 miles. Have you had the transmission flushed or changed? And I said, no. Well, manufacturer recommends, here it is, from the manufacturer, at 50,000 miles, you're 24,000 miles overdue. I said, yeah, but it's the time. I don't have the time right now. I'm kind of in a hurry. I just wanted to get this quick oil change done and get on with my life. And she said, it only takes an extra 15 minutes. I started scratching my head. 15 minutes? How are you going to do a transmission oil change in 15 minutes? Well, it turns out it's a sealed transmission. All you have to do is flush it and replace the oil change, the oil. While he's under there, he's already flushing my radiator. There's a kid on top. I was looking around, and people have an issue, and I'm looking at some of the comments that, they have all these kids now working there. And, well, when you're You're in the middle of, you can't hire people, and you have a bunch of kids. But you know what? This manager was there on the floor supervising 4 cars, and she was the one filling out the paperwork, and she was a great sales lady. And she said, it only takes 15 more minutes. Well, how much more is it? It's $195. Now, I've had it done. I know what it costs in other vehicles. Here's the deal. By her telling me it's only 50, you know what it's going to cost me in time? To go to the dealer, make an appointment, drop off my vehicle, grab an Uber home. When it's done in 3 to 4 hours, come back, pick up my car at the dealer. We're talking about an enormous inconvenience for my time. She made it easy for me to buy. She says it's only going to cost you an extra 100. So it was $250 for the flush and the transmission and a synthetic oil change. There was a pro. I noticed the guy came out from underneath. There's a pro technician underneath, and there's all these kids, less money that they're paying them, but she's on them all. Hey, check this car, check this. The guy came and said, hey, give me your information. Gave me the tablet. I filled my information. He went back. They're filling. Everything is automated in that system where they put, how many it is. It automatically dispenses it. I'm gonna check the level anyway because I'm that way, making sure it's all good. I'm teaching my techs to sell. He says, by the way, you can add the mosquito service. It's normally $89, but since this is a monthly account already, I'm already here. We can save you 30%. Why? Because it cost me $45 average. The travel fee. The travel fee is $45 for us to travel to the average home. When I figure out all the stops we make, everything we do, remember, as a solo operator, you have very little route density. So telling the customer, listen, I can do your lawn spray while I'm here. You got dogs. You got fire ants. We can do your once a year fire ant service. We can do a monthly natural spray on the lawn. We can do a monthly synthetic spray on the lawn. Give the customer options. You get into termites. Listen, termites, you understand it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Why don't we get you on Centricom? Why don't we get you on an advanced baiting system? Whatever you want, I don't care. Pick your poison. Can we do it? We'll do an inspection. While I'm here, I'm going to offer you a termite inspection for this much, a really thorough termite inspection. Not that 15-minute stick my head inside the attic. What can you add on? And listen, here's what you're going to say. I don't like to offer clients things they don't need. Listen, it's not for you to decide what the client needs. It's for you to offer it to the client, make it available, and let the customer say no. Stop being in the business of no for your client. That's why a lot of you are starving. I offer it to my clients. I make my salespeople with no sales pressure. Look, guys, it's not up to you whether the client says yes or no. It's just your job to offer it. I go to Panera Bread, and they've got go to Panera Bread and study their sales process in what is known as, it'll come to me now in a few minutes, but I go there and I bought their subscription to $8.95 a month for unlimited coffee. So I know I'm going to be driving around there every day. I'll stop by and get a coffee. I may get a soup. I may get a salad because I eat there 2 to 3 times a week anyway. But the end of it's a sales funnel. There you go. I was just lost my train of thought. Sales funnel. I want my coffee. By the way, they tell me, hey, last time you ordered the soup and the salad, would you like that? No. For another 99 cents, we can add a cookie. No, I'm on keto. It was non-disruptive. They asked me twice if I wanted to buy something else. If I say no, it's no issues. Why don't you offer the client what you have and say, by the way, you know how many times I've walked into a client and says, why do you have them doing your lawn? Why do you have them doing your mosquito? I do it. I didn't know you did it. You lose out on the business to your competitor because you were afraid to ask for it. That's the most asinine thing in the world I've ever seen. Offer the client on all our email and all our communication. By the way, we also offer this, 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 and this. Every single communication. Hey, I'm your tech. I need your work. By the way, I also offer this, this, and this. By the way, every time we do it, it's an automatic, hey, can we get a review from you? Can we get a review? Every service that we do, we ask for a review. Automated. Everything we're doing is trying to automate everything so that the tech doesn't have all that pressure on him to sell, to ask for reviews, to do all this. If he's in the home, he says, hey, by the way, can you do me a favor? Write me a review. But if he forgets, if he doesn't do it, it's okay. Make it available. So upselling is the number one way you're going to generate new revenue, because doing an extra job that only takes 19 minutes, 20 minutes to do when you're there, it's much better than having to finding a new client, making another trip and adding another stop to your route. In the equivalent of making a new stop, you can make way more money even if you bundled it and gave them a discount of 20 to 30% off that service. Because 50% of your money is tied up right now in traveling because you don't have route density. Which takes me to the third point, route density. How do you do it? A lot of guys have asked me this. I got friends who are talking, bro, it's so hard. And it's so hard. And in my area, everything is so spread out. I cover 3 counties. I cover 4 counties. I said, building route density is the most difficult. And let me tell you something. It is the most difficult. Give me a second. Let me answer this important text. Um, Sorry, folks, but I got to answer this. It is the most expensive. It is advertising, sales, and marketing extensive. We did it for a long while where I worked. I literally had 100 clients in one development. I did door knocking when I first started. A lot of you guys don't want to do door knocking. I get it. But that is the cheapest way for you to build route density, is to door knock. So if you want to eat that frog and get it done, you can build 300 clients in the next 6 months by door knocking. That is the cheapest for you to do it, or hire somebody to do it. It's going to be very expensive. Micro farming zip code. This is very easy to do, but it is very expensive. Direct mail. If you come up with a campaign, and I'm going to give you the campaign. I'm not telling you it's easy. I'm not telling you it's cheap. I'm telling you, if you want to do it, this is how you do it. You get a direct mail campaign to just one zip code, 3,000 homes. You go on Nextdoor and you do Nextdoor advertising to that same zip code. You get a Facebook marketing and you do advertising to that same zip code. You go to AdWords and you do marketing to that zip code. You can use Send Jim, and you send Jim to send 10 homes around every single one of your clients. You put them in a database. It's expensive. None of this is cheap. I'm not telling you this is cheap. I'm telling you this is expensive. But if you want to spend the next 12 months and invest $5,000 to $20,000, you will build route density because the lifetime value of the client is what you're after. You're going to have to spend between $5,000 and $2,000 a month, depending how many homes are in those areas. How much you're going to target. All of those will work together as a system. You do them all. I've done it. It doesn't work. Maybe your ad sucks. Because if you don't have a strong offer, you have to add a strong offer. You got to have a good copyright and a good one. Spend $300, $400, $500, $1,000, and hire a sales copywriter to write the ad for you. You have to bring down the price of your initials so you can compete. But if you're doing an area and you've got all these clients, it's much cheaper to be 2-3 minutes apart than spending $45 on a trip. You say, I won't bring my prices down $50, but you'll eat it on the trip. I mean, that makes no sense. Guys, get past your emotions. Get past your feelings. Look at it from purely a transactional mentality when it comes to this. Implement Six Sigma. Implement Lean. It's much cheaper. Here's why these companies buy out other companies. You got companies that are buying out small little regional companies that are making $150,000 a year. Why? It's cheaper to buy them for $150,000 that they're already generating $150,000 than it is to try to go out and market for the next year or 2 or 3, plus the cost of sales. It's going to cost them $150,000 to build up that market. It is cheaper to buy it. That's the fourth one. It's a bonus. You can buy out a small little company in that area. Let's say the guy just started out 6 months ago and it's not going well for him. You can buy the list of every company and see who started 6 months ago and say, oh, well, 3 guys started 6 months ago. Let me send them a letter, give them a call and say, hey, bro, how's it going, by the way, with your business? Is it going good? I'm looking to buy a company in that area. You interested in selling it? And pay the guy $60,000 for it. How do I get $60,000? You get a small business loan, you buy it. Because he's already got the revenue. You've got an established business. Spend the $60,000 and buy the guy out. We've looked at that as an option, but most of the companies we run into, all these spray and pray guys for $35, we don't feel like acquiring that client. It is much easier for me to acquire a high level. Like I said, we're getting so many calls, I can't handle it. And right now, I'm only selling packages. I'm only selling lawn mosquito and lawn packages. My average client is spending way over $200 a month with me. And I'm not taking on any client that can't afford that. I'm in a position where I don't have to take it. I don't have to add 10 stops. I can add 2 stops and make the same amount of money and let all those guys be somebody else's problem. There's always ways. None of these ways are easy. Growing a business isn't easy. Thriving in business isn't easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Figure out which one. Can you do route density? Can you do raise your prices and upsell it for the next year? And not have to do route density. And then when you get the money to do route density, say, yeah, I can afford $2,000 a month, but don't expect this thing to overnight to kick off on you. You're going to have to spend $50,000 in advertising for that year to get your name out there and get brand recognition and name recognition. And you need at least 13 touch points with those clients before they know. This is why it's important to do retargeting ads and understand retargeting ads. How you're going to get that client when he's already been on the web, when he searched for this. When, if you know there's a frequent business, you can tag those businesses in your Facebook ads. There's a lot of things you can do, but you might need to hire an ad specialist to run all these ads and pay the guy $1,500 a month just to do the management on the ads for you. There's guys who do that, and they're good at it. But the good guys, anybody says, I'm going to charge you $100, he doesn't know any. He isn't worth his salt. But you tell my guy, look, I'm going to give you $1,500 a month and $1,500 in ad spend. And the first 30 days is going to be testing and it's going to be a wash. And then where are the results? But get somebody that has a reputation for doing that. There's ways to do it, guys. This is Frank the Pest Geek wishing you a pestacular day.